So Baltany, they're always sending me watches and I'm always trying my best to be honest, and that's the brutal truth of it. And the thing that's tricky for me as a reviewer is you're going to get people that start to get a bit annoyed. They're going to go, here's another review from Dan of a Baltany watch. He's always going to be positive because then they'll be happy and they keep sending you free watches. Now, the cynics among us would say, yes, that is 100% the only truth of the matter, but the real truth is I always try and give my honest feedback, and that means I do find little faults and things that are worth mentioning. Today's watch is no exception. It is an excellent watch, but there are a few things I would like to see improved and changed, and the good news is that is where Baltany appreciate my reviews. That's why they send me more, not just because I'm a shill and I keep saying they're amazing, go and buy them. It's because I give feedback and they read your feedback and they make improvements. And that's what we're going to do with today's watch. So let's have a closer look. So here it is. This is the Baltany S6076. It's the solar powered military style pilot chronograph. Bit of a mouthful, but let's just crack on with what are you getting for your $148? Approximately the same in pounds. Hoping to get something which is very good. Only weighs 63 grams with this leather strap. This is available in either this black dial version or there is a brown dial version with a tan colour strap. Case size is 39mm from here to here, not including the pushers or this crown. The loom inside here is a combination of BGW9 and retro loom. I'll show you in detail a bit more later. The length of the watch, lug to lug if you want to call it that, or the tip to tip as some people like to also refer to it, which also sounds a bit dodgy if you ask me, is 46.5mm. Quite a stubby little one for length. Lug width here is 20mm. Thickness, including this ever so slightly domed crystal, is 12.4. This has a lovely big chunky 7mm screw down crown aiding to 100 meters of water resistance. These pushers are also screw down. And as I alluded to earlier when I said crystal, this is a sapphire crystal. And it has a clear AR coating, which is beautiful, and that helps with the legibility. Polished hands in there. Solar powered movement. The movement in this is a Epson, which is effectively a Seiko VS71 movement. 6 months power reserve once it's fully charged. Takes approximately a day's worth of daylight to really give it a good old charging up. And I'm going to show you the functionality of this movement because the way you operate it is you unscrew these pushers, leave them screwed in if you want the water resistance of course, but you can leave them unscrewed if you're not too bothered. The start stop function is at the top here. What I like about this sweeping of the chronograph hand is it's got about 4 ticks a second, so it looks mechanical. You can do split timing by pressing this bottom pusher whilst it's running. And as you see, it looks like it stopped the movement. But when you restart it again, after you've noted down your timing that you've just put there, it jumps forward to where it's been secretly behind the scenes. It's continued to count along, which I think is really cool, very clever. And then when you want to stop it proper, top one, press reset, and it sweeps around. No snapback here. The seconds hand, which is continuously ticking, is this one here at the bottom, this sub-dial. And the one at the top here is your up to 1 hour of timekeeping for if you're using the chronograph. And you also have a date complication here at the 3 o'clock. As you can see, it's a very plain screw case back with gaskets in there, aiding to the 100 meters water resist. These are screwed down as well, as is the crown, all adding up to what gives you that 100 meters water resist, and I would trust that. But you're not going to really get it that wet because it has a leather strap. So now it's time to discuss the things I like and the things I dislike. The things I've noticed immediately I would like to change, maybe I'm not quite so sure about, is first of all the pusher feel. You can't change that with this movement, it's just a criticism of this movement. And that is there's no pushy clicky feeling when you use the pushers. When you use a VK movement from Seiko, the Mecha Quartz, not available at a reasonable price point with solar power unfortunately. This is an affordable solar movement. The feel of the pushers is zero. The next thing I find ever so slightly disappointing is knowing this is a quartz and knowing that they don't need much more room for the movement, etc. I think it's still ever so slightly too thick. It is better than usual. I think they could shave maybe another 1 to 2 millimeters, if possible, off the height of this watch. And I think that would, for me personally, who loves a thin watch, would feel this would be a game changer, not just for the aesthetics, but everything, the wearability, the weight. I think if they could, please just try it. And then the thing that maybe exaggerates that thought of it being too thick is look how deep in here this date complication is. It looks like it's lost in there. It's like an endless pit of doom that the date is lost down there. Then again, a nitpick is the word chronograph here on the next to the 9 is too small. I think proportionally they could have made that almost a third bigger. It looks tiny. No polish anywhere on the case at all, no chamfering. I would have liked maybe a little clever chamfer running around this part here, around the pushers, and then continuing down here around this bit here. It really helps give some extra level of dimension and crispness to a case design. This looks a little bit basic, but you know what they have polished, which I wish they hadn't, are these bloody hands. They should have made them brushed, because the contrast between the hands and the dial, even though it's a matte dial, they get lost a bit and they struggle, and I think polished hands in certain situations do get a bit lost. Now, for being ultra picky, I would say the chronograph hand is probably 0.5 millimeter out of kilter on the left. Maybe it doesn't line up absolutely perfectly in the middle. While we're here as well, being ultra picky, when you unscrew the crown, just the nature of the movement, there's zero pop when you fully unscrewed it, which we're used to with some movements, mainly automatic ones. There's no pop at all, and I just wish there was a little bit of a pop, so you know it's fully popped out. And it's quite hard to give it that last pull to get it to time setting mode. Now we can move on to the likes. This is a nice way to finish the video. We'll start with the one that's not anything to do with this objectively. It's the value for money. For the money, this specification, you just can't get this on the high street. That is just a no-brainer. And that leads on to the build quality. You're getting something which has the build quality far surpassing things for double or triple this price on the high street, because the way I measure that is literally looking at all the little details. In summary, the brushing, extremely smooth, very neat, very consistent. Under the dial, there's no dust or fluff. Everything lines up, apart from maybe 0.5 millimeter with this chronograph hand, but we can live with that. The machining of these pushers is stunning. It really is beautiful. The knurling, sunburst action you get with the way they've been machined. The application of the loom, which I'll go to in a little bit more because that's one of the positives, but the application of that is really good, really neat, really smooth. Quality of the leather strap. It's very neat. The edges have been sealed beautifully, soft, supple, smells nice. Logo etched on this, very nicely machined. Buckle on the strap. The stitching on here is very neatly done. It's so surprising how good a watch you can get for so little money. The specification is also part of that as well. It's comfortable because it is pretty slim. It's very light. It's got nice short length. The comfort's important because why would you want to wear a watch that's uncomfortable? We're not talking about high heels here. We're not women, are we? We want to wear something that just you don't really get upset about when it's on your wrist. And this is comfortable. I love these screw pushers. It's fun to fiddle with them and just feel the quality of that knurling. And it's just a nice extra detail which adds a real toolish look to it and makes it feel like a military spec watch. Next up, solar power. I love the fact that you'll never have to put a battery in here. It's a set and forget, literally. You don't have to worry about anything. It will give you an indication if the watch is running low on its power reserve. If you've had this in a drawer for 6 months, it's kind of watch you almost want to have if the world goes to pot and it's apocalyptic and you still want to wear a watch to time when the next zombie wave is coming. You don't have to, as long as you've still got sunlight, you don't have to worry about your watch dying. It's like having a G-Shock solar or something, but you look cool in the process. So when the apocalypse comes, you can look cool. I'm going to finish this with the loom because that's always a fun thing. As you can see, it really pops. It's going to last a long time. Lovely contrast between the green and the blue. It looks stunning. They really know how to do their loom. I just think it's gorgeous. Just look at it. This thing's easier to read in the dark than it is in the day because of those polished hands, and that says a lot. So if you agree with my few suggestions here, the changes I would make to this watch, what would you make change-wise about this watch? Excellent feedback is always appreciated. They haven't asked me to say this. I'm just thinking it's good the community get involved as much as possible with giving feedback, and that is you guys. I'll have to find out what you guys think. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one really soon. Bye for now.